El baúl, for many of us, has come to symbolize things, treasures that were brought from wherever people immigrated from, to keep all those things that were the most important in your family. In my grandmother's, there were baby shoes that belonged to her and belonged to my mother, and so now they have mine and my daughters and my granddaughters.
My tia Elia had this baúl in her bedroom. One day she opened it and she showed me, and this is going to be for you, and this is a set of silverware from when I was married, and this is the dress that I wore, and this is the hat that I used for your mother's wedding. It was all these stories. Then one summer, Mary and I went to Tenancingo, and we were looking at rebosos. And this lady says, "Wait, I want to show you some I have hiding in a special place." And she removes this cover off this baúl, and it was this gigantic baúl filled with rebosos, all kinds of colors and images. And she kept telling us that it was el baúl mágico, because there would be one more thing and one more treasure and one more treasure.
The baúl had everything magical, treasured, personable. It just absorbed everything of who you were and are. But at the same time, we wanted to look into that box. We wanted to see what it was hiding or keeping so secret. But it wasn't a secret because it was ready to explode. So when I created the baúl, I wanted to explode with all the symbols that we have that were in our life, our roots, and tell that story in the logo of Somos, Cultura y Más.
So for us, Somos, Cultura y Más is this amazing opportunity to protect, promote, share, let our culture continue to grow from one generation to another. So what I love about this baúl is it represents the holding of our treasures. And every time we develop a new Cultura kit, or we look into a new subject and we begin doing deep research on it, all that knowledge goes into that baúl. And then when it comes out, it's an event, or it's a book, or it's a package for children. It's an experience for someone else. Among the things that we've explored, of course, are the rebozo, which we think is just the most magnificent treasure of Mexico. And we've developed packages around that and special events on it. And then we started looking at all the treasures of our culture.
We also have done the same thing for a Christmas tradition, which is the posada. And at many homes and churches, it's part of the tradition at Christmas time to hold the posada. In the Cultura kit, you will find activities on how to make Christmas ornaments and how to cook the foods that are big at that time of the year. All kinds of really interesting ideas. But we also have those for how to make milagros. And those are special treats that we use on Dia de los Niños. There are many, many Cultura kits that we can explore, and many, many more to do.
In Mexico, Dia del Niño has been celebrated since 1925. And in the United States, we have never had really a day for children. So in 1998, a group of friends and I thought, oh, we should do something about this. So the very first festival was held in 1998, first time ever in the United States to have an official event. And in the audience, we had a representative from Puerto Rico, we had representatives from Washington, D.C., and we had congressmen. And they all said, let's take it to Washington. And so for 24 years, schools and Girl Scout troops and public television and libraries all over the country have been celebrating El Día de los Niños.
We're really excited about the Dia de los Niños event because it brings all community outside into the heart of Westside to honor our kids and participate in a wealth of activities, from throwing the chancla to ring tossing and plenty more.
Most important thing is that it recognizes the importance of our children and lifting up policy to support our children's future.
And remember this, my dear brothers and sisters, that we are gathered together here this morning to celebrate our children. And part of our responsibilities as an adults is to protect our children in every single moment of our lives.
It is about the next generation. It is about the future leaders of our community, of our country and our nation. Today it is about the children. It is about all of the families, the beautiful familias que están aquí. Everybody give yourselves a round of applause.
It's not just a day to go and play at a festival with all the different kinds of things that you find at all the festivals, but it is something cultural. It is something that will communicate to the next generation something about our history, about our traditions. And the most beautiful thing about Dia de los Niños here in San Antonio is that it's all free. So you see parents walking out with armloads of things that the children have created, and you know they're going to take them home, and their treasures they're going to be put into their baúl, and they'll pass the traditions on to their children. And that's the dream.
¡Que vivan los niños! ¡Que vivan! ¡Que vivan los niños! ¡Que vivan!
The origin of the cacao, the origin of chocolate, comes from Mexico, comes from the Aztecs. And if you wrap your head around 4,000 years ago, that's where it was. And it was always a beverage. It did not become the candy bar that we know today until about 400 years ago.
So for a while now, Mexico has lost its place in the world as the big producer of chocolate. This wonderful project, Por Amor al Cacao, it helps farmers rebuild the entire farming enterprise. The most amazing thing about Por Amor al Cacao is that these producers used to produce maybe 200 to 300 kilos of cacao per hectare, and today they can produce a ton. We were thinking we would have a nice chocolate dinner where you would taste chocolate in all the ways. You would have a main entree, you would have a dessert, and you would have a beverage. But once we visited Por Amor al Cacao and we saw the cacao growing, something that is so rare that we can't see here because it only grows in certain places, we knew that we wanted the public to experience what we had. We wanted them to smell the cacao when it's fresh from a cut plant. We wanted them to taste it, to try to grind it. So we created an event that would have multiple experiences.
The event's it's a fantastic event. It's how the city of San Antonio is coming together around, I would say again, what is chocolate and what's the heritage of the Mexican culture. And the combination of those two things, I think they produced an incredible event.
Eventos como este ayudan a que más gente conozca la importancia y la relevancia del cacao y que cada vez que comemos un chocolate entendamos todo el esfuerzo que hay detrás de un chocolate y del cacao como tal. También pienso que hemos olvidado toda esta parte cultural y lo que representa para nosotros. Yo me siento muy agradecida de estar aquí en este evento en el cual me permiten compartir esta gran pasión que tengo por el cacao. Yo me siento muy orgullosa de ser mexicana y de representar una comunidad cacaotera como es Pichucalco, Chiapas, que es una comunidad al norte de Chiapas, donde hemos trabajado durante más de 10 años. Y durante esta experiencia yo he aprendido el gran valor que tiene el cacao para nuestra cultura mexicana.
The highlight for me tonight was the connection with the indigenous community that really are the ones that founded chocolate. And then the process of making chocolate is so important. So not only is this a gala, a fun thing, a beautiful thing, but it's an educational thing for our community, our children, and for legacy forever.
The Aztecs were the ones who developed that fermentation process, and that's why we have it. We have cacao in our blood. It belongs to us. So remember that every time you taste chocolate, every time you smell chocolate, every time you eat something with chocolate, it belongs to you. It comes from you.
know that children who understand their culture and are uplifted by it, they grow up happier, stronger, more positive, more confident, and able to be so much more successful because they are grounded in who they are. Because this, Texas, California, New Mexico, Arizona, we were all part of Mexico at one time. And those traditions run deep in our blood, they run in our heritage, they're part of who we are.
If we don't celebrate, if we don't take time to cultivate the heritage among the young people in our community and make sure that we have proper celebrations and recognitions, then we're lost.
So somos cultura y más. Y más is the feeling of and the traditions that are deep inside of you that you want to share with other people. Y más is everything. It is the story. It's inside you. And it continues to grow and spread. You know, the more we share our stories, our experiences, and our love and traditions.